Public service announcement. No, the PSA is not that we're wearing matching Car Edge merch. The public service announcement, Dad, is that the CFPB and the New York State Attorney General have sued Credit Acceptance Corporation for, quote, hiding auto loan costs, setting up borrowers to fail. Let's break down what happened here and let's make everyone aware. If you're in the state of New York, you could be entitled to some compensation. And in general, if you've ever worked with Credit Acceptance Corp or other similar lenders, you might want to go talk to your state's attorney general because you might have been taken advantage of.
I think you can remove the word might. Okay? If your credit is such that you only qualify through a lender similar to Credit Acceptance Corporation or Credit Acceptance Corporation itself, I can guarantee you they're going to take advantage of you because your credit indicates to them that you're a real risk. So your rates are going to be sky high to begin with. And typically, people that have bad credit that are desperate to get a loan don't spend as much time reviewing the documents and the paperwork involved with that loan as others might. So that oftentimes they sign documents that, are not in their best interest. But all they know is that they got a car loan.
Yeah, to be very clear, we do not absolve the responsibility of the individual. It is up to you to be your own advocate and to not make foolish decisions. However, there is a lot of pressure sales tactics that we all know can go on at a dealership. And so shame on those people who are implementing those. Let's read, Dad, from the CFPB. Go ahead.
If I may, I will suggest there's one thing at a dealership when somebody who has really bad credit comes in.
Yeah.
Okay. And if they can put together a loan for that person, there's not a lot of tactics. It's here's the car that you actually qualify for, that we can get this loan in place for, that will keep you in the payment range that you want to be. It's either this car or maybe there's one or two other cars that you can choose from, but that's it. And then it's up to the customer to make a decision as to whether or not it doesn't require any real trickery when it comes to people like with this type of credit history.
All right, let's break down what happened here, Dad. Today, the Consumer Federal Protection, Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB, and the New York State Office of the Attorney General sued a predatory auto lender, Credit Acceptance Corporation, for misrepresenting the cost of credit and tricking its customers into high-cost loans on used cars. The car buying experience turns into a nightmare for many of CAC's borrowers who face unaffordable monthly payments, vehicle repossessions, and debt collection lawsuits. The joint complaint alleges that, among other things, CAC hides costs in loan agreements and sets consumers up to fail. The complaint also alleges that CAC violated New York usury limits and other consumer and investor protection laws. The lawsuit seeks to force CAC to stop its illegal practices, reimburse harmed consumers, pay back wrongfully earned gains, and pay a penalty. Deal School 3.0 Pops, we're so excited. What do you get?
The quick and easy way to learn everything you need to know about buying a car today. Go to joinyaa.com/deal school today.
Let's dig into some of the quotes here, Dad.
Yes.
Quote, Credit Acceptance obscured the true cost of its loans to car buyers, leading to severe financial distress for borrowers and subjecting them to aggressive debt collection tactics on loans its own system predicated that borrowers can't afford to repay. That comes from Mohit Chopra, the director.
Predicted that the borrowers couldn't afford. Yeah.
CAC claimed to help low-income New Yorkers purchase cars, but instead drove them straight into debt. That comes from the New York State Attorney General. CAC steered hardworking New Yorkers onto a path of financial ruin by tricking them into unaffordable high-interest auto loans while cutting backroom deals with dealers to increase their own profits. These predatory actions hurt innocent people and left them with mountains of debt. So what are some of those predatory practices that they are alluding to, Dad? Quote, from the document, closing its eyes to practices that harmed consumers, the company created financial incentives for dealers to add extra products to loans and then shrugged off whether customers were misled into thinking the add-on products were required. Add-on products such as vehicle service contracts are a profit center for credit acceptance. They represent about $250 million in revenue in 2020 alone.
Well, I'm not sure how they're a profit center for credit acceptance. It's a profit center for the dealership because they're the ones that are including the extended warranty and falsely claiming that Credit Acceptance Corporation, in order to give you this loan, wants you to have the service contract. The way, in my mind, that I could see that Credit Acceptance Corporation would make extra money is merely because they are financing a larger sum of money so that the interest charged on that larger sum of money would generate, they're generating more interest. So they're making more money through the interest, but they're not making money off of the actual sale of the extended warranty. That is a profit for the dealership.
I would not be surprised if Credit Acceptance Corp has a service contract business unit that, like, I think it's
perhaps maybe they do.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a service.
If they make $250 million in revenue from that, they probably sell their own service contract that's administrated by someone else. And what's happening here, just to bring this down to X's and O's, blocking and tackling for everyone, is someone who has terrible credit.
Yes.
Only option is CAC. The dealer is then adding on, hey, here's an extended warranty. It just is adding $20 to your payment at a 25% interest rate over 48 months or 60 months or whatever it is. CAC is then profiting off of that for the obvious one, which is more interest being paid on the loan. That goes into Credit Acceptance Corp, the finance company's back pocket. And also, I would not be surprised, we'll have to do some research, but I would not be surprised if they have a service contract business unit that also makes money from the sale of that service contract.
Yeah, that I don't know.
This is the setting borrowers up to fail. That person who is already going to be hamstrung by the fact that they're on a 20+% APR auto loan does not need the extended warranty at a, 200% markup over cost. Like, it's preying upon those who can least afford to be in that situation. And we are seeing the CFPB and the New York State Attorney General stand up and say, this is BS. You're taking advantage of people who don't know any better, and we're not going to allow you to do that. We can't be too surprised. They've been doing this for a long time.
It's their business model.
It's their business model. And it's incredibly profitable for them. And our business model is to inform you of this type of crap so that you can go talk to a credit union before you go to the dealership. And I'm not guaranteeing you're going to be able to get an approval from your credit union. But I posted on Twitter recently. You saw that?
Yes. No, I've lived through it. I've watched it. I've seen it, where people come in and they are limited as to who would conceivably lend them money.
Yep. And
that their credit is so bad and so suspect that a typical bank, a typical credit union are not interested. A subprime lender, such as Credit Acceptance Corporation and other subprime lenders like them, will, in many cases, take the shot, and then the dealership will say, hey, the only way the bank has agreed to do this is you must buy the extended warranty, you must buy a low jack, because they want to know where the car is.
Yep.
And the dealership adds additional packages to it, which increases the amount that you end up borrowing, which ultimately increases your monthly payment, which was somewhat unaffordable to begin with, and takes it to a new level of unaffordability. So in many cases, it sets these people up for failure. But the sad reality is that their past credit history has already suggested that they're going to fail, and that's the reason they're getting put into 25 and 29% auto loans.
That does not excuse the fact, though, that this corporation is taking advantage of those people by another quote from the article from the CFPB, the consumerfinance.gov press release, hiding the true costs of credit and setting up borrowers to fail. For almost 4 out of 10 loans, CAC predicted that it would not be able to collect the full amount financed by the loan. Credit acceptance profits even when borrowers are unable to pay their loans in full by using aggressive debt collection methods. This whole corporation exists to prey upon those people who are already in a bad situation. That is not sustainable in our humanity, in our world. That is a terrible business model. That is one that needs to go by the wayside over time. You need to be aware of these things that they're happening, because you don't want to go to the dealership and not have a pre-qualification from a credit union. You get hit with CAC. You need to know better.
This is another situation that suggests that we as a country need to do a better job of educating
100%.
People as to how credit works, how you build up solid credit, the importance of credit, even educating people on how it is that you buy cars, how loans are determined. It sounds a lot like what we're trying to do.
Give us a couple more years, folks. We're trying.
And then there is personal responsibility and personal accountability. I can't tell you the number of times where I would hear a customer say, well, let me know what the payment is with the late charge. Well, why do you even want to borrow money if you're not going to be able to pay it back on time? So we need to start educating people at a much younger age as to what to expect, so that hopefully the percentage of people that find themselves in this position will be declining rapidly.
Let's leave it there. Leave your comments down below. We appreciate them. As always, thank you, Deb.
Thank you, Hanson.